Exactly.
So
the same thing goes with with the cell phone, because every 2 years a better cell phone comes out, or every year a better cell phone comes out. It literally becomes the time that you just completely keep upgrading. Everything's upgrading. The microchips, all those crazy things. I mean, that's another topic for another day.
We're talking about superconductors now.
Superconductors,
yeah, for sure.
And the crazy thing to me is that I sit back and I think, should children really have access to the World Wide Web? I know I've said like a boomer right there. It's no offense in any way to anyone.
No.
My family and my dad and mom, but it's like, it's kind of like, should they have access to any kind of should they have this access?
I think it should be limited.
So
I think it should be limited.
That's a good question.
You know what though? That's funny. As somebody who went from radio to black and white TV, TV to cable,
Okay.
rather than just the two channels. When looking at it, they were saying my generation, our brains were going to be rotted because of television. And now here we are, we're looking at what cell phones can do, and then you've got artificial intelligence coming in.
Oh, man.
And the students are using their phones to basically do the thinking for them.
GPT.
And they're no longer really being creative, and that's why my number one thing for teachers is don't accept anything that's typed any longer. Make sure it's handwritten. Even if they're copying it out, at least they're going to recall some of what they've written.
Absolutely.
For the most part, they're passing in things that's been typed by AI, and then they'll go to something like Quillbot or whatever these ideas, whatever those formats are online, and they go and they change a word here and there, and it gets this, here are 10 synonyms, and they're synonyms for that word depending upon the context. And
absolutely.
They choose this, I've made it different, so they're not going to know it's created by AI.
And they have no idea what the connotation is behind this.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
But then they got teachers like us that say, that's a wrong word there. How come that's not making sense in context to what the syntax of the sentence is saying, right? So they don't understand the importance, as Mr. Jack was saying, they don't understand the importance of continuity and perspective within the syntax of the sentence itself. It has to each sentence has to dovetail into itself and have continuity within first paragraph, second paragraph, and third paragraph. It has to have continuity. And I'm a stickler teaching my students the proper etiquette of these wonderful curriculums like MLA, APA, Chicago, those kind of formats. You can understand how to write an essay proper format, and understanding how to go through different kinds of formats, and I can use MLA for this, I can use APA for that, I can use Chicago for that, which is an older style of writing. But at least the 3 different kind of ABCs of writing. And then that way you can navigate yourself within society and within your own mind, your own thoughts. You're using an analog, you're using self or intrinsic ideas to generate your thought and to have creativity within thought pattern. Right?
Cell phones take that away because
they do. They deny you access to that.
They take it away from you. And this is where I want to ask, actually, maybe round robin this question. Do you think cell phones at a certain age are appropriate? Let's say, what age? Let's say 13. Is that an appropriate age for a child to have a cell phone? Let's start on the screen. What is your guess on that?
Me personally, if I have a child, the age that they would get their cell phones is probably when they're teenagers. That's when they know, when they are aware of what's happening around them. So they can know what to look up, what to not look up. So teenage years is the year where they can have their cell phones.
For me, not till after they graduate high school.
Really? That's very interesting.
It's a tool for bullying.
Yes, there you go.
It is just another way to arm bullies and again make this child who doesn't feel part of the group even worse. And they can go through it, and they're doing it outside of school hours.
Absolutely.
And then the parents are holding the school accountable for the bullying that's going on
outside
on cell phones that they arm their children with. And they don't monitor what their children are texting. Matter of fact, at one point in time with Facebook, if you were to look at the demographic and say you want to speak with somebody who is a 53-year-old man, it was actually a 10-year-old boy. I remember being in a conference, and the presenter, who was very much a proponent for and supporter of technology in the classroom, etc., but pointed out that children just go on and they create a completely fictitious profile, and then they operate on that. So parents have to take responsibility, and they have to take responsibility for what their children are doing with that cell phone. And really, parents are so busy right at the moment, trying to provide. It's the one thing they don't do. Just as when I was growing up, they didn't always monitor the shows that we were watching. And I remember the show Man from U.N.C.L.E., which was, about the jet set life of a playboy spy and all that. Should a 10-year-old be watching that thinking, that women in the spy world were just objects? Right? And so, and parents
007 kind of thing.
Oh, they're watching TV, it must be okay. It wasn't always Captain Kangaroo.
He brings up a good point, because biometrics, false identity, you can't get cross biometrics. That's why biometrics play a big role in creating a profile. But Facebook doesn't have biometrics, they just have a password. Snapchat doesn't have biometrics, they just have a password. So anybody can create something. WhatsApp. So
all the main social medias.
Any kind of main social media doesn't have a biometric application or component to their profile outset. So in order to differentiate between who is legally allowed to be on there versus the illegal content that's there, is just room for mistakes, put it that way.
Well, there's also the argument that the parent will give you, and that is, they have the phone in case of an emergency. Number one, if they're at school,
there's a million phones.
There's a phone, and they're being supervised by adults, and if there's an emergency, the parents will be contacted.
Exactly.
And if the parent has an emergency, needs to contact the child, they contact the school. The child is then contacted. Same thing when they go to a sporting club.
There's coach, there's assistant coach, everything.
So this idea, they need it just in case of an emergency. I need it just to contact them. No, and it's also quite a status symbol too. They say my son has the iPhone 52.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't even know what number they're on here right now.
Exactly. I feel that.
But you know what? People could argue that once they don't have it, then they could still get bullied. Just having it.
Bullying exists, but why provide an extra tool for it? Bullying is going to happen in school, always has, always will. And no matter how hard educators try to monitor it and limit it, it's always going to happen. They always find a way around it. They always find a way around, as you know. We've got all sorts of individuals who they found a different way. Even if their phone was confiscated, then next thing you know, they're using their friend's phone.
They're using their friend's phone to chat. You have them contact? Okay, I'll contact them. And then through their friend, and their friend gets blamed, and the friend's is in disbelief, I never said that, but it came from your phone. Well, you already know, man. You already know.